Cade McNamara is in the transfer portal. Can he benefit a team? Can he take a team to the next level? And which teams can he do that with? There are some Big Ten teams that I believe can utilize the services of Mr. Cade McNamara. Now, when you talk about Cade McNamara, you have to answer a couple of questions. What box do we need to keep Cade McNamara in? We need a good running game. I think that's the first thing. And we need a good offensive line. Like, if you're looking for a guy to come in and just make everybody better around him, receivers, backs, all that stuff, Cade McNamara ain't your guy. This is a guy that needs to have a foundation in place. He's a game manager type. Look, and one thing he does well is he protects the football. You need a tough physical team. I think that's the box that Cade McNamara fits into. So let's take a look at some options for Big Ten teams that should call Cade McNamara, that should inquire about the former Big Ten champion quarterback. Let's start first with the hot option out there, and that's the Iowa Hawkeyes. Okay, when we look at the box, right, that we mentioned before, that Cade McNamara needs to be in, we have to mention first Caleb Johnson. Right, Caleb Johnson emerged in the latter part of the year, and this running game really got going for the Iowa Hawkeyes as things went along. So they have the running game. I believe in the future, Caleb Johnson is their guy for the next couple of years behind the line. Now let's talk about that offensive line. Young offensive line this year, shuffling around. It got a little bit better as the season went along, but maybe not a whole lot better. Now, Caden Proctor is a big part of this, right? If he can come in next season, and if he could be the best recruit in Iowa history, and he comes in and he's a starter from day one, and he is as good as they say he is, 5-star guy, local guy out of the Des Moines area, I believe, that could sure up some holes on that offensive line. And we know about Iowa's defense. Look, even though they're going to lose some guys, this is still a Phil Parker defense. Like, Iowa seems to be a good destination for Cade McNamara. But if you dive into it a little bit more, you got to ask yourself, why would Cade McNamara go to the Iowa Hawkeyes? Right, we know the issues about Brian Ferentz. Okay, so is Cade McNamara a guy right now that wants to play in a Brian Ferentz offense? Better question might be, who wants to play in a Brian Ferentz offense? A Brian Ferentz offense that has continued to take steps down over the years that he has been the offensive coordinator over there. And another big question has to be, what will your better wide receivers and playmakers stay in Iowa City? Remember, Charlie Jones did not transfer to Purdue until after spring ball. Okay, you got a guy right here in Keegan Johnson who might play in the bowl game but did not play during the entire regular season. Was probably going to be Iowa's top wide receiver. What happens if he transfers after Cade McNamara gets there? Now Cade doesn't have a lot of guys to throw to. Okay, that's what I fear, is that Keegan Johnson is going to see what Charlie Jones did at Purdue, becoming one of the best receivers in the Big Ten Conference. Even to a lesser extent, seeing what Tyrone Tracy did as well, being involved in that offense as well. Why can't Keegan Johnson transfer somewhere else where there's a better passing attack where his skills can be on display? All of those questions need to be answered before Cade McNamara makes a big-time commitment to the Iowa Hawkeyes. What about the Wisconsin Badgers? Okay, you got a new coach coming in, Graham Mertz. He's probably done in Madison. It checks one of the boxes. Braylon Allen, right? You've got one of the very best running backs in the Big Ten. Like, look at how Cade McNamara really was when you had Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum behind him, right? And you got a guy right now in Braylon Allen that's one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. Now, the big thing about that is going to be keeping Braylon Allen in Madison, Wisconsin, with all of the turnover. The offensive line isn't what it usually is in Madison, and I think that could maybe be a concern right now for what's happening at the University of Wisconsin. And what will the team look like? Is this going to be a team that fits with Cade McNamara? What are they going to have at the receiver position? We talked about Marcus Allen is not going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, as he's transferred out to Minnesota. What are the wide receiver options going to look like? Because I believe that's going to make Cade McNamara a better quarterback, is his talent around him. And that leads me to my last option, the Illinois Fighting Illini. Out of all of these options, Illinois probably has the best receiving core. Like you look at Isaiah Williams, good playmaker. You look at Pat Bryant, who's been one of my favorite young wide receivers. Both of those guys are sophomores, will be juniors. Then you look at a couple of juniors that will be seniors, assuming they stick around. Casey Washington and Brian Hightower. You look at these receivers for Illinois, and these are guys, you got guys all across the formation that I think Cade McNamara can throw to. Now, I look at Tommy DeVito, grad transfer type of guy, like, you look at Tommy DeVito and you look at Cade McNamara, and are we doing the Spider-Man meme? We're pointing back and forth at each other? I don't think Tommy and Cade McNamara are terribly different. Like, yeah, there were times Tommy went down the field and made plays, but for the most part, he managed the game when Chase Brown was running the ball. Now, obviously, Chase Brown probably not going to be there next year at Illinois, so it's going to have to be Reggie Love. It's going to have to be Josh McCray. Like, Josh McCray was going to be a big 1-2 punch with Chase Brown, but injuries kind of riddled him this year. So maybe he'll step up. Reggie Love kind of did a good job as that number 2 back. So I believe Illinois checks the boxes. And when you look at a Brett Bielema offense, it kind of fits into what Cade McNamara wants to do, even dating back to Bert's days at Wisconsin. This is a guy that wants to run the ball. This is a guy that wants to be physical, and he doesn't put too much pressure on his quarterback. Like, there's a lot of Cade McNamara guys that he coached at Wisconsin, maybe outside of Russell Wilson. You know, why can't Cade McNamara be a Scotty Tolzien? Why can't he be that kind of a quarterback that leans on the running game, that leans on the defense? And remember, Scott Tolzien carried Wisconsin to a Rose Bowl. So I want to hear what you guys think. Where do you think Cade McNamara should end up going? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.